You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for DC News Now at 9. I'm Susan Tran.
Hi, I'm Chris Flanagan. We are in a DMV First Warn Day again tonight. A live look right now at our weather radar. You can see here on the right side of your screen, very colorful there. And also on the left side, this is from our camera on top of our studios here in the Georgetown section of DC. See a lot of fog out there right now. Low visibility. Also continuing to see rain, and that will last well into the night. So for the latest, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb.
All right, Janessa, the fog also a concern into the morning, right?
Absolutely. Not really going to burn off till mid-afternoon across the region. And so you have this rain coming through that doesn't help the foggy conditions. Really, in the next hour, we will see a lull in the weather pattern where we'll see some drying taking place. And then the second round happens overnight. So talking about visibility right now, not as bad as what we saw earlier. 5 miles in front of you. No advisory in place for D.C. 1 mile to 2 miles for Fredericksburg and portions of western Maryland. We still have that ice storm warning that will remain in place until 4 a.m. No advisories, winter weather advisories expanding into the metro or Fairfax County. We'll just continue to deal with this flow of rain. Most of the heavy duty moisture in the second round, where I was talking about overnight, is coming in from the deep south. They're dealing with severe weather, and all of that's going to continue to stream up towards DC area. Current radar shows you we're in our last batch here for the metro region up towards central Montgomery County before we get into that lull of the weather pattern. A little bit of ice accumulation happening just west of I-81, but things are starting to die down. We do have rising temperatures tomorrow, a very mild day across the region where many spots near 50 degrees. I have more on your extended forecast coming up.
Janessa, and when we're not on air, you can always keep track of winter storms heading our way by scanning the QR code here on your screen. It'll take you directly to the weather page on our website. You can also go to dcnewsnow.com/weather.
All right, many folks spent the day digging out from the snow. In most communities, homeowners and business owners, you are responsible for clearing the walkways and sidewalks along your property. In D.C., there are plenty of folks ready to pay someone to help them shovel out. Yes, I can raise my hand to that, including some people who are new to the area.
This was really nice that there were guys in the neighborhood who could pay a few bucks to have clear the sidewalk so I can be a good neighbor and still get what I need to have done inside the house. It's also tough as a working mom and trying to juggle all the obligations of the morning.
The Park Service says crews along the National Mall got an early start clearing all of that snow around the Jefferson Memorial. The snow emergency in D.C. expires tonight, so you can start parking again along those emergency routes.
All right, from frustration to gratification. People in Prince George's County say they're really happy with the county's snow removal effort. Crews did a really good job. Now, tonight's feedback, that is a major turnaround from January's storm. That's when complaints piled up over lingering snow and ice on so many neighborhood streets. DC News Now's Tim Reed has our story.
I spoke to some Prince George's County residents today who tell us they are pleased about snow removal efforts being done by crews since that snowstorm hit on Monday. Many tell us things have been done a lot better this time around. Snow crews have been busy working around the clock, making sure they kept the road surfaces clear and safe for everyone to drive on. And many in Prince George's County have been noticing what a good job was done.
I think everything looks great. I think they did a better job than, I think they weren't prepared for January 6th. I think they were more prepared now. I think the roads were very icky. There was a lot of accidents. There's less accidents now.
It was a drastic turnaround this time. But in early January, when that snowstorm hit, things were handled a lot differently. Many residents complained because it took crews several days to clear smaller roads and in neighborhoods. The county council held a public meeting to hear from upset residents and promised the next time around things will be handled better.
We held them accountable, and it was a pretty rough hearing because we heard from our residents who were very frustrated. But they said that they admitted that they had made mistakes and wanted to make changes. And today we haven't gotten any complaints. The last storm, we were getting calls every hour.
Residents we spoke to are hoping the county moving forward will continue to do better to make sure when snowstorms hit, they will be better prepared.
I know a lot of people complain where I live the sidewalks wasn't even done. It took a long time for the sidewalks to get done.
So we were very pleased with the results of this storm.
Councilmember Blagay tells us anytime residents have concerns about the snow removal process, they can reach out to the county. In Upper Marlboro, Maryland, Tim Reed, DC News Now.
Staying in Maryland, the boil water advisory has been lifted for thousands of families in southern Prince George's County. The water authority, WSSC, says the most recent test, they came back showing that the water is now safe to drink. But first, everyone who is part of that advisory, you need to first run your faucet until the water is clear. WSSC says start with the faucet that's closest to the ground level. This all started early yesterday morning when a water main break shut down service to the region.
Well, the snow certainly creating some slick roads, making for some really tough commutes. As of late this afternoon, state troopers in Virginia say they responded to at least 951 crashes since yesterday. 94 of them were in Northern Virginia. And in Maryland, troopers say they had 235 crashes, but more than 700 calls for service.
New tonight in Virginia, a bust to build a casino in Fairfax County. It was no dice for the Tyson's casino bill in the House, a state senator posting on social media. The proposal died in a subcommittee, essentially killing the entire plan. The legislation would have allowed an entertainment district to be built around a casino. Critics called the development unnecessary for the county, but supporters argued it would bring in more tax dollars and jobs. President Trump's plans to downsize the federal workforce took a major step forward. A judge ruled a group of labor unions cannot challenge the administration's buyout program. Trump has offered 2 million federal workers a chance to resign now and still get paid until the end of September. White House officials say that tens of thousands have already taken up the offer. The labor unions argue the plan is illegal. Developing now, we are learning more about local people really impacted by the shutdown of USAID. Billionaire Elon Musk and the president dismantling the Foreign Assistance Agency, and it's now leaving hundreds of federal contractors in our region out of work. DC News Now's Max Marcilla joining us live outside of the headquarters there in Northwest. And Max, these are folks who work for these nonprofits in a whole long list of humanitarian efforts. We're talking feeding, educating children, fighting disease, clearing landmines. So what does this mean for all of these workers?
Well, Susan, these workers who we spoke with say these last couple of days have kind of been split into two. On one hand, they're thinking about themselves, their own futures, trying to figure out where the next paycheck will come from, how to pay the bills, things like housing. But then on the other hand, they're also thinking about this industry that they say has completely changed overnight, that many of them got into because of their passion. Protests have been loud and clear, people pushing back as USAID, the Foreign Assistance Agency, has been criticized and subsequently dismantled by the Trump administration.
Look at all the fraud that he's found in this USAID.
While the president has praised Elon Musk for his hand in the efforts, workers in our area are frustrated and concerned about the uncertainty that's starting to become clearer.
It's so massive, it's so scary, it's so cruel.
It's been rather traumatic, honestly.
We spoke with USAID contractors Mary Courtney Murphy, who officially lost her job in the Bureau for Democracy, Human Rights, and Governance today.
I have to go back to my parents and start over, do something new again, which is not what I expected at this stage in my life.
We're very passionate about what we do.
And Catherine Baker, who will be furloughed on Monday. She works in areas of conflict prevention.
I've been in this career for 13 years. I've never been unemployed. And so it's that lack of economic security, which I've worked very hard to have. So many of us have.
What's next is a difficult decision for thousands of USAID workers and contractors, as the shakeup of the federal government is now trickling down to contractors and ultimately the DC region. But these workers are still focused on the work they're leaving behind, even as they navigate their own day-to-day.
We were working with advocacy rights people, journalists, political prisoners, and we just left them. These are really hard contexts, these are conflicts, people are going to die, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Now, both of the contractors you just heard from who we spoke to for this story say another challenge is just generally the state of the foreign aid industry. Catherine Baker, who you heard from, said that she feels it was just completely changed in the last 3 weeks, wiped away, she even said. So what it comes down to is these folks are wondering if there are even jobs in their fields that they can look for. And again, if not, what that could mean for our local area, our region, remains to be seen. Reporting live in Northwest, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
All new tonight, D.C. police are asking for help identifying a suspect in a deadly shooting in Navy Yard last month. They released this video of a man at what appears to be inside a convenience store. Police say around 8:30 on the night of January 30th, they found Nico Rector shot to death on M Street between 9th and 10th Street Southeast. If you have any information about the shooting or you know who this suspect is or recognize him, give D.C. police a call. Meanwhile, a bronze statue of a Scottish Terrier stolen from a Southeast D.C. dog park, and now police need your help tracking it down.
Here's a question. Who would take off with this metal, very heavy figurine here? D.C. News Now's Daniel Hamburg has more on how the dog statue, though, was more than just a piece of art.
The Scotty statue honors a beloved longtime school teacher here in D.C. who died 10 years ago. All that's left right now after it was stolen, this granite base where you can see the discoloration of where it once stood. The artist who created it tells me it was only held on by epoxy, though he told them years ago it should have been held in with metal rods. The Virginia Avenue Dog Park is loved by dogs from Navy Yard to Capitol Hill. The Scotty statue has been a park staple since 2021.
The Scotty is an iconic part of this park. It's a part of its identity, and it's always been here as a warm greeter to everyone who came here.
The statue was installed 4 years ago to honor early childhood teacher Bernadette Blum, who took her students to the FDR Memorial, teaching kids about people with disabilities and using FDR's Scotty dog Fala to teach kids about scale.
When she passed away from cancer, the community decided to raise money and do all the things that it needed to do to create this statue of the Scotty in order to honor her memory.
Dog Park board member Tom Egan says people first noticed it was missing on January 20th.
It represented somebody that really cared about the community, and it was stolen. That's just heartbreaking and so thoughtless and just cruel.
The Scotty weighs 500 pounds and is worth $30,000.
I don't know how they got it out of here, but this was not just a spur of the moment theft. You know, someone saw it, they planned it.
Egan says they don't have the budget to replace it, so he's hopeful it can be found. If you have any information about the people who stole the statue or where it might be, you're asked to call DC Police. There is a reward of up to $1,000. In Southeast, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
All new tonight, the new board elects President Trump chair of the Kennedy Center. It comes less than 1 week after he threatened to fire the board. The president posting that announcement this afternoon on social media, on Truth Social. On its website, the Kennedy Center just listed President Trump as its chair. The center says the call here is unprecedented.